and I've read and I've watched videos of people growing microgreens in a spare basement, in a spare room, in a spare garage, and they're making, 100,000 a year. Now that was before a lot of this was pre-COVID, when people were making 100,000, selling to chefs and restaurants and things like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But it just shows that it's very possible, and people,
yeah.
also the fact that they're so nutrient dense when they're so young,
Hmm.
and so it's a very quick turnover. It's low energy,
Hmm.
doesn't take a lot of resources, but it's definitely a cancer fighter. That's proven.
Yeah.
They've done all these
Same,
medical studies on it.
same with mushrooms. The
Yeah,
others are very similar, and I
absolutely.
did grow mushrooms in my
Hmm.
basement as a business.
What was
So
that like?
it was stressful. It was a lot of work.
Really?
Even just one grow room was a full time job. So
Wow.
it's a lot. I mean, I was producing about 100 pounds of mushrooms a week in a very small room, and that was uh, full time income for one person. Unfortunately, it was me and my ex husband doing it together, and it wasn't quite enough money to support both of us. Um, but then I got a grant from USDA and got a shipping container and a used refrigerated semi trailer and built a new grow room. In the semi trailer, really just ended up using the shipping container for storage and for the equipment and stuff, and use the semi trailer for the grow room because it's already insulated. I mean, that's just the perfect pre-made grow room as an insulated semi trailer. Um, and yeah, got it all built out from the grant and was going to do a whole farm. And I mean, my vision at that point was that I was going to get this full time income going from it because it's year round. It's stable and it's you can get a good amount of money for it. And then I was going to start hiring people and then expand the business from there to do microgreens or outdoor crops, and create a whole cooperative farm around the mushroom farm because the mushroom farm would be like a nice initial stable income for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially like I love to cook, and I love curries, I love soups, and just like deep soul filling type of dishes and stuff. I just love, especially anything that I cook, if there's a bunch of vegetables that, oh, you probably can't donate these to anyone, probably won't use them in a salad, we'll make a vegetable stock. Like there's always something you can do. And I love how mushrooms, you can make mushroom powder for stocks and
Hmm.
soups and for seasoning.
Yeah.
I've even made mushroom rubs where you rub it on to, your food before you cook it, and it just adds, even if you're just like grilling vegetables or something, frying some vegetables, like just to coat it in that, like a beautiful mushroom, powdered mushroom tempura batter. Like
Hmm.
you can just get so creative with it, and it's
Hmm.
so healthy.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
loved it. I loved having them all the time. And I was doing shiitake, maitake, lion's mane, oysters, reishi. Um,
wow.
yeah, it was really cool.
Mm. I
Um,
love a mushroom miso, like a really good mushroom miso soup. Yeah, mushrooms and microgreens go amazingly well
mhm,
together, I think. Um,
yeah,
I mean, maybe we should be talking about indoor and outdoor. Maybe we need to look at maybe something like that. Because I've
yeah,
got the indoor space, got
yeah,
some outdoor space.
yeah. Well, and I mean, this is kind of an argument that I've gotten in with the regenerative community is whether indoor growing can be regenerative, because like with your the regenerative organic certification that they just created, and by they I mean Dr. Bronner's and Patagonia. Looking at you because I gave them lots of feedback telling them not to do it and they didn't listen. Um, they were like, no indoor
Wow,
growing. I'm like, but what
wow,
about mushrooms? What about microgreens? What about
yeah,
aquaponics? Like, what
yeah.
about the farms that rely on those crops to feed their outdoor crops? Like, I'm
Hmm.
growing mushrooms and I'm using that as compost for my outdoor operation. What if you're
Very
taking the
powerful.
soil from your microgreens and composting it and reusing it? Like, isn't
Exactly.
that
That
regenerative?
was my thought. Yeah, why isn't that regenerative?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
some beautiful worm castings, beautiful, mealworm casting. Like that's some good stuff. That substrate.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, so I think indoor is an important part of being regenerative. I mean, because you can do more year round, you can make your farm more sustainable. You can, do things with like composting and stacking functions. Because you've got this like indoor space to use for multiple different things. Um, So yeah, and especially with an urban setting like you're talking about, if you had an indoor space or if you could build something on that concrete slab like a greenhouse, um, then that would give you a whole nother level of potential